with Zoom. Let's see. Let's see if the magic is happening. It worked. Zoom. The magic is happening. See.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, I see YouTube up there. Okay.
Yes.
That's how that happens.
The magic is happening. The magic is happening. So if you are in the Zoom and we're live streaming onto YouTube. And for those who are in the Zoom, I just want to let everyone know on YouTube, for those who are in the Zoom that do not have their camera on, they don't show on the live stream. Okay? That is, and if you are in the Zoom with your camera on, remember your camera's on so that because you're going to be live streaming to YouTube and YouTube will see everything you're doing. So, right, Tam? How you loving, Tam? How you loving?
I'm loving. I'm just grateful.
Yeah. You want to shout out your YouTube channel because you do amazing work on YouTube. You are amazing.
Hey, my YouTube channel is Solutions Radio, the Illuminations Media Network. Hey, y'all. Hey, fam.
And you have hold on. Are
Is
y'all
there
hearing
something
me
else I
okay?
can help with?
No, Siri. No, thank you, Siri. And you all are hearing me okay? Are you hearing me okay?
Yes,
Okay. And you have had interesting conversations with Paul Wallace, the fifth kind.
I have. I just love Paul Wallace and his wife,
I
Lou.
love Paul Wallace.
Ah, I
Goodness.
love him. He's so personable. He's analytical and but he's down to earth. Very sweet person, sweet being.
He is an amazing teacher.
Yes, he has that way about him.
And an
Yeah.
amazing scholar. There's so
Oh,
much we could say about Paul Wallace.
yes.
He's
Yes,
really an extraordinary being. And you can
absolutely.
tell he exudes this sense of truly wanting to help people.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about evolving humanity, right? For the
Yes.
betterment of humanity. I love it. Yeah.
That is what it is about. Absolutely, absolutely. How's Elaine this evening? Elaine, you're good. Thumbs up. You're good. Okay. Elaine is in Money Magic, and Tam is in the Money Mastermind with us in the Wellness Club. All good, Carla. Carla is in the Zoom. For everyone watching on YouTube, if you do not, if you, for the ones that I'm t talking to that you don't see, the camera is off. So just know that if you hear me talking to someone and you don't see them in the Zoom, on the screen, it's because the camera is off, okay? So the only ones that show on the live stream are those who have their camera on. So, are we ready?
We
Are we
ready.
ready?
We ready.
We ready. We are ready. Tam, do you love ancient Egypt?
I was there. I was there and I know it. I love it. I can't wait to go back.
Oh my goodness. What was your favorite part about ancient Egypt? Did you
Mm.
have a favorite
It,
part?
it was the fragrances, the essences. That's what I remember the most. Yeah, just the headiness of the incense and the fragrance. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Blue Lotus, anyone in particular?
I can't even name what it would be because right now this memory doesn't articulate a name.
Hmm.
I remember the headiness of the sense.
The
Yeah.
experience, huh?
Hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There's no one, no place that I have been on the planet that is like Egypt. And I've been to dozens of countries. I have not yet found anywhere on the planet that is like Egypt.
Mhm.
So I love going there. I love taking our people there. So that's what we're talking about tonight. So let's go on screen share so we can get into these secrets because I have prepared for us 11 occult secrets of ancient Egypt. These are occult and astrological secrets. And the reason that I have a map pulled up is because one of them involves the distance that some of this granite has to travel. And I want us to understand the implications of this and what we're told about it. And if what we are told matches what we have before us, that's always my question. Let's start with number one. So we're going to start with the Great Pyramids. Let's start right in Cairo. You have just landed on a plane. You were in Cairo, Egypt. It is super busy in the Cairo airport. It's hustle bustle. You got your passport stamped. You paid your little $35 to get that visa, the Egyptian visa, into your passport. They slapped it in there. And now you are ready to see all things Egypt. And you're in Cairo. And the first stop that we're going to go on this tour of Egypt is Cairo. So we're in Cairo. You're going to be, when you come with us on the retreat, you're going to be whisked off to this beautiful retreat location. We love, love, love where we stay in Cairo. You'll find out all about that later on when we talk registration. So for right now, you're in Cairo and it's our first day, and we're going to get up and have a delicious breakfast, and we're going to whisk off to our tour is going to take us to the Giza Plateau. And there you're going to see, of course, the Sphinx and the three pyramids. So let's start right there. Let's start right there. So we have the Great Pyramid. Now, inside the Great Pyramid, which we love going inside the Great Pyramid, and if you choose, you can go inside the Great Pyramid too. If you don't choose, it's all good. Either way, go in or don't go in. It's completely up to you. The Great Pyramid does have acoustic resonance properties. When you go up into the Great Pyramid, one of the first things you are going to notice when you are in what they call the King's Chamber is the acoustic properties in the chamber, such that the sound and the rhythm can alter human consciousness. Now, some say it activates the pineal gland. We don't have absolute proof scientifically that it does activate the pineal gland. What I know is that the acoustics are so profound in that chamber that when you simply speak, it reverberates and the resonance comes right back to you. So it's got this very strong acoustic resonance property. And you wonder, what was that for? Was that for chanting? Was that for some kind of um, sound that moves heavy objects? I often wonder if the Egyptians used, if not the Egyptians we know of, if the ones who created these pyramids, if they used sound and vibration to move heavy objects, just like salt on a table when you play loud music. Now, the second thing we want to look at inside this king's chamber is it's made of granite. Now, granite contains quartz. Quartz is piezoelectric. That means that it can generate tiny electrical charges when it's put under pressure or when it's vibrating, which is very interesting because we can't say for sure that the whole entire pyramid was an electrical generator, even though it was quite possible that it was. There's many speculations about the purpose of the Great Pyramid. What we do know is that this quartz is in your watch, this quartz is in computers. This quartz is it is able to emanate tiny little electric charges. Now, these charges might not be big enough to power like a whole city or lights or anything like that. Yet, why was it granite? And why was it that Many other pyramids are made of limestone, not these. And the granite is Aswan granite. It came from 500 miles away. 500 miles. I'm going to show you on the map. There is 9 granite beams in the ceiling. It wouldn't be called a ceiling. They each weigh 50 to 70 tons and are 20 to 30 feet long. These granite beams are huge and heavy. And let me show you where they came from. They came from, hi Val, in standing before this pyramid, that what we're talking about. They came from Aswan. So let's go here and let's go down the Nile River. And here is Aswan. Now, do you see the tiny, this, it looks tiny. It's, of course, it's not tiny when you see it in real life, the Nile River. Yet, I want you to look at where it would have had to travel from. All the way from Aswan, 500 miles past Luxor, past Edfu, past Luxor. Look at the turns that the Nile River makes, some pretty sharp turns. Cataracts in the Nile River, big rocky patches all in the Nile River. And it goes all the way up here to Cairo. Wow. What was that about? We don't know. What was that about? What was it about that they had to get that specific granite, not limestone? Limestone is all over. That particular granite from 500 miles away, bring it all the way up. They say they bought it up the river. We don't know if they bought it up the river. That's an assumption because we don't know for sure if they bought it up the river or how they transported. We don't know how any of these beings, I'm going to call them beings. To me, it is the civilization that came a very long time ago before humanity was established. I attribute all of this to the Anunnaki. That's my own. Yes, I am definitely with the History Channel and Ancient Aliens. Absolutely in that camp. Absolutely proud to be in that camp because many people, as soon as you say the word A for alien, they run screaming from the room. Even any scientist that wants to be taken seriously can never use the A word. They can never use the alien word. I'm not in that camp. I'm free to use whatever words I want to use. So that's an interesting thing. So we're here in the Giza Plateau in Cairo. Okay, let's go a little further. Now, besides all of that, the Great Pyramid, even though they told us it's a tomb, that's what they told us. They told us, oh, this is a tomb. This is Khufu's pyramid, and he was buried there. Well, they never found a mummy. There's no uh, burial indications all in this entire hieroglyph in this entire pyramid. No hieroglyphics, which is very strange. No inscriptions, which is also very strange. No funerary texts, which that's very odd. No king's name, no religious imagery. What's very odd about this is that everywhere else you go, we have tombs. We know what the tombs are about. If you go into a tomb of any of the pharaohs, you see all of the tomb goods. You see the canopic jars with the brain in one and the lungs in another and the stomach in another and the liver in another. You see the mummy, you see all of the things that they chairs. They have it all booted and suited for anything the pharaoh may need on the other side. They have sometimes a barge in there, looks like a boat. They all the jewelry, changes of clothes, food, all of that is in there. So we have seen burial chambers of pharaohs. That's not this. It has none of that. And one big thing that you always see in the pharaohs' burial chamber is what they call the Egyptian Book of the Dead, yet it is not actually That's not what the Egyptians called it. They called it the book, the coming forth by day. That's what they called it. Coming forth by day. These are spells written all along on the, you'll see many of them, many instances of this. Spells with hieroglyphics written so that the Pharaoh can activate these spells on the other side for various benefits. None of that's there. Number four. So there's no mummy, no lid on the sarcophagus. They're calling it a sarcophagus, yet it's not a sarcophagus. The sarcophagus, I'm going to show you the inside of it and what they're calling a sarcophagus. It is not a sarcophagus. So I will show you the inside. Let's see. Let me get you inside. Oh, that's a photo. That's a photo. Boom. This is the photo right here. This big granite thing. Do you see this big granite thing that I have my hand on? There's no lid. There's no mommy. What is this thing? No one quite knows what this thing is. No hieroglyphics. Look at the walls. Clean and bare. Nothing on the wall. Just granite. Just granite all around. This thing is granite. What is this thing? And it's empty. You look inside, it's just empty. It's an empty box. Now that's very strange. That's very anomalous for Egypt. Okay, let's go further. No construction blueprints anywhere about how they built the pyramids. Now this is fascinating. There are hieroglyphs about how they built this temple, hieroglyphs about how they went and got these people and made them kneel down and caused them to be, the wars, and they took over these people. Hieroglyphs about what they did to the people after they captured them. Some of them, we're going to read this in the book of Exodus when we get ready to go into the Bible again, or is it in Joshua and Judges? How they told them to bring back, they went to the war and the Pharaoh told them to bring back. Actually, it wasn't the Pharaoh in the Bible, it was someone else in the Bible who said, bring back 100 foreskins of the Philistines, right? Well, they have hieroglyphs of them going to war, chopping the heads, chopping the penises, and putting the penises on top of the heads. Like, I mean, they have hieroglyphics for everything. None on the pyramids. That's too odd. That's too conspicuous of an absence. Nothing on how the Great Pyramids were built, which led me to the conclusion after I've looked at all of this evidence about, and there's a lot more, I'm going to show you a lot more. After I looked at all of this, I came to the conclusion that the Egyptians did not build the pyramids, did not build the pyramids, they found them. They found them. I'm going to tell you more about that in a moment. Now, the internal angles. Let's talk about the internal angles. Angles, not angels. Let me correct my spelling here. The internal angles in the Great Pyramid encode mathematical constants, pi and the golden ratio. I'm going to tell you how in a moment. Pi and the golden ratio. Pi, supposedly, no one put numbers to pi until, according to the academics, Archimedes, somewhere around 250 BCE. They always credit the Greeks with all these things. The Greeks were like the first people to do everything and anything, according to Western scholarship. The Greeks got a lot of their understanding and knowledge from Egypt. Yet they always credit the Greeks, Plato and Socrates and Archimedes, and it's always the Greeks who came up with everything, right? Well, supposedly 250 BCE was the first time someone could put numbers to pi. So pi always existed. But how is it possible that they're giving Archimedes 250 BCE the credit for putting numbers to pi when the pyramid built thousands of years before that are already, and we don't have this text about how they were built. So they were already encoding pi. How could they encode pi without having the math for a pi? Was it an accident? Archimedes didn't wasn't the first person to put numbers to pi. He may be the first person that we know of that put numbers to pi. Yet, if you're going to utilize pi in the Great Pyramid, you obviously know how to encode. You know the math for that. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Now, let's look at this, the pyramids. The pyramids of the great, these three pyramids, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, they supposedly have been built to align with the three bright stars of Orion's belt. So let's look at this because I brought up a couple of little pictures for you. Let's just see. Now, supposedly, let's go here. This is the Great Pyramids and Orion. This is called, there's a correspondence between the Great Pyramids and Orion's belt. Now, this is called the Orion correlation theory. It was proposed by Robert Bauval in the 1990s, and it suggests that the three pyramids of Giza were deliberately built to align with the three belt stars of Orion, Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka. Well, let's just look at it. Here is an aerial view of the pyramids of Giza. Here is Orion's belt. Here is an overhead of Teotihuacan. I've been there outside of Mexico City. I have plenty of pictures from Teotihuacan. I'll show you Teotihuacan in a moment. Here are pyramids in China. Look at these three. Look at these three. And look at these three. Now look at Orion's belt. That's interesting. It's very interesting. Okay, let's go to Teotihuacan. Let me show you Teotihuacan so you can see that for yourself. And I'm so happy that you were here. Let me put it in a search. Teotihuacan. Let me put it in a search. A-O-T. There it is. Okay. Boom. There's one right there. Let me show you some of my pictures that I took at Teotihuacan. I had on a big, huge hat. Teotihuacan is beyond strange. Oh my goodness, I could talk about Teotihuacan for a very long time, just like I can talk about the Egypt pyramids. So it's a huge ancient
We're
city
now working the
outside of Mexico City.
if you can see.
And I tell you one thing, you don't even have to go all the way to Egypt. You could go right to Mexico and you could see these incredible these incredible um okay. Let me show you. There's one. There's a pyramid of the moon and the pyramid of the sun.
Reached the sun pyramid.
That's the pyramid of the
Which
sun.
is taller, the sun pyramid or the moon pyramid?
And down there is the pyramid of the moon.
The sun looks higher. Might just be closer.
Really
Yeah, because we're
interesting.
closer.
Well, when you look at this from overhead, this is what it looks like. This is what Teotihuacan looks like when you look aerial view. That's interesting. Okay, so supposedly they're aligned with Orion's belt, their placement, supposedly. It looks very close. We can't prove it because we can't ask the people who created it, so we don't know. Let's look at the Naos Shrine. Now, before we go to the Naos Shrine, a couple of more things I want to show you about the pyramids. These are very strange. You can screenshot any of this. This stuff, it's very hard for me to wrap my head around it. The speed of light and Khufu's pyramid coordinates. The exact latitude of the Great Pyramid, latitude, longitude, the exact latitude is 29.9792 north. The speed of light in a vacuum is 299,792,458 meters per second. The numbers are nearly identical. Now, some people would say that then the builders of the pyramid knew physics. But how is that possible? But there's more. We talked about pi and the golden ratio, that if you divide the perimeter of the base by the height, you get 2 pi, which is interesting. And the ratio of the slant height to half the base is the golden ratio. So, how did the builders of Khufu's pyramid know anything about sacred geometry? Okay, there's more. There's more. Uh, if you multiply the height by 43,200, and you get the Earth's polar radius, but you multiply the base by 43,200 and you get the Earth's equatorial circumference. The pyramid is connected to Earth's dimensions. Why would that be necessary? Why would it, why would the size of the pyramid be proportional to the Earth's radius and circumference? That's very strange. Another one. The Great Pyramid, quote unquote, Khufu's pyramid, is aligned due north within 1/15th of a degree of true north. How is that possible with no modern day equipment? Even our GPS and our modern compasses, our satellites can't even match that level of accuracy that you can put this building. It is the most, they say, precisely placed structure on the entire planet. It is the most precisely positioned structure ever built on the entire planet. Due north, due north. That's that's interesting. But wait, there's more. The base length of the pyramid is 365.24 royal cubits. They use the royal cubit, matching the number of days in a year, 365.24. This is solar calendar knowledge. Extreme precision according to the solar calendar, because the solar calendar determines the days in a year, right? Um, we did that. The Great Pyramid, they're not to, it's not a tomb. It's a mathematical. This is what I call Khufu's pyramid in one sentence. It is a mathematical and astronomical masterpiece that encodes the fundamental numbers of the universe, such as pi and the golden ratio, as well as astronomy, geography, and advanced physics. Who did all of that? But you're telling us people were chiseling away with little slaves, toting these enormous stones up there. I don't think so. And I don't think we're that crazy to believe the things that mainstream is trying to tell us. Okay, let's talk about the nail shrine. We're coming down to the home stretch. Let's talk about the nail shrine. What is a nails? It's a rectangular shrine or chest that sounds eerily similar to the Ark of the Covenant described in the Bible. It was rectangular. It was made of stone or wood, like the one in the Bible is acacia wood. It was gilded. The one in the Bible is gilded. It's acacia wood and it's covered in gold or inscribed. And it was placed inside a temple's innermost sanctuary. Well, that's interesting because that's the same place that the Bible tells us that they put the Ark of the Covenant. They would put it inside the Holy of Holies. Now, in the Naos temple, in the Egyptian world, this structure, this box, would contain a statue of the god or maybe sacred emblems that are associated with that deity. So let's look at the similarities because I asked AI about this. And here's why I asked AI about this. When I was in Luxor and I went into the Luxor temple, it had a courtyard, just like they described in the Bible. Okay. It had a inner part of the temple, like the holy. Okay. And then it had an inner sanctuary, the Holy of Holies. I was like, whoa, this is the exact same setup of the temple in the Bible. And look what it says. So I'm wondering, yet this is thousands of years before the Bible was written. So did the Bible do some borrowing again? What was the function of this Egyptian Naos shrine to house the divine presence? What was the function of the Ark of the Covenant to house the divine presence, right? What was the access? Only priests could go inside and handle the nails. Ark of the Covenant, only the priests. Location, inner sanctuary. Location, Holy of Holies, that all the way inside. The concept in Egypt is the throne, is the seat of God. Ark of the Covenant, mercy seat. Ritual role, daily offerings, things like that, oracle or presence. And what's very interesting about this is only the priest could approach the nails. Only the high priest, only the high priest in now in Egypt, there were magical practicing priests, ritual priests and priestesses. And when we see priests in the Bible, we don't think about magical practicing priests and priestesses, astrologers and diviners. That's what they were doing in Egypt. Number nine, Karnak Temple, also down in Luxor and Karnak temples, is aligned with the winter solstice sunrise. So when the sun, who's running all around Egypt doing all this astronomical alignment? That's what I want to know. Who is running all around Egypt making all these things super precise to the stars, to Orion's belt? One shaft in the pyramid points to Sirius, another shaft points to Orion at the position where they would have been thousands of years ago. The Karnak temple, when the sun rises on the winter solstice, the light travels through the pylons straight into. You've seen these things before. I saw this in Cambodia, also at Angkor Wat, that there was when it during a certain time of year, either the summer solstice, the winter solstice, the fall equinox, the spring equinox, one of these times when the sun moves, it would shine like directly on, like, let's say, the statue of the god, or the precision is really bizarre, which would mean that they would have been tracking this over generations. Astrology. Astrology was restricted to temples, and it was controlled by the priests and astronomers. What was it used for? Good question. What was it used for? Priest astronomers? The regular rank and file people, like you and I, normal, regular people, did not have access to astrology. Can you imagine? We have access to astrology. Can you imagine the regular people did not get astrology? They got myth, stories, Osiris going on, Ra, the sun god, going across the sky on a sky barge, going down at night and going and ascending in the morning, going into the west, coming up in the east. They explained it to the people with myth and story and mythology. The inner circle, that's why I'm talking about occult and astrological secrets of ancient Egypt. The inner circle, the priests were the ones that knew astrology. Everybody couldn't know astrology. You couldn't get trained in astrology. And now look how lucky and amazing you are. You can learn all about astrology. You can learn all of this. What are y'all thinking? What are y'all hearing before we tell you what's coming up with this delicious retreat? And what are y'all hearing? How is this landing? Because this lands on me as very extraordinary and very bizarre and very mind-bending, and I can't make heads or tails of it. So, how's it landing on y'all? Talk to us.
The same. There's so much that we don't know. And I'm really curious. Feel like if I'm there, boots on the ground, I might get some insights.
Very true, because There's a resonance, and there is something that happens inside the pyramid. There's something that happens inside of those temples. Something happens. And each person has a different kind of experience with that. Something happens. It's something about Egypt changes you, right? What else? What are y'all thinking? Carla, Elaine, what are your thoughts? I'm curious.
That no documentary on TV or the History Channel or even in theaters can cover all this. You have to actually be there. You have to be there, and you have to be an enlightened person and in tune to receive what you see. Because you can go there as a tourist and see everything and think about what you learned in school. Oh, these are the pyramids and the slaves and the Ten Commandments and, how they were built and all that. Or you can go there really looking to receive what source has for you to receive and wants to open up your eyes, not your natural eyes, but your spiritual eyes too. And then being discerning of that. And what are you going to do now that you know the truth and now that you know the information? But you have to really be there to absorb it all.
You are right about that. Because no one can convey it to you. How do you convey all of this? Right? Naya says, my spirit is literally being called to Egypt more now than ever. I love that. It was the same with me, Naya. It was the same with me. And for everyone watching on YouTube, Naya doesn't have her camera on, so that's why you won't see Naya on the live stream. Elaine, what are your thoughts? Curious.
Well, to be honest, I never really had a desire to go to Egypt, and that's the truth. However, after this, I'm sitting there like I need to go. Like I really, really want to go. Like the desire was really, really because all of the alignments just pulls me. Like this is not a mistake. This was on purpose. I need to be there.
And who did all this astronomical alignment? Clearly, they knew physics, they knew astrology, they knew astronomy, they knew seasons and cycles of the planets, they knew the placement of the planets. Who was doing all of this before telescopes were invented? Before a compass was invented? How did they align this pyramid that you see me? This is my picture I took while I was there. How did they align this pyramid to 1/15th of a degree that perfectly aligned to north, exactly north? How did they do that with no GPS, no satellites? Carla? Carla, unmute.
There's so much that they don't tell us that we don't know, that we either assume or we just get the little crumbs that they share with us, whether it's through the media or in school or whatever. And we're at a time now in the world, in the history, you can't be ignorant. Not you have to go outside of what you're taught and go to these places and physically be there and research on your own to really have the information. You can't be ignorant. I mean, to just go based on what you're taught or what you're told without doing the extra work,
Yes.
I mean, that's ignorance. That's ignorance. And you're allowing yourself to be, you can't allow yourself to be ignorant anymore.
Powerful. Go ahead, Carla. Okay. By the way, I asked Carla if she would join us one morning as our guest because Carla used to be a Latter-day Saints and she has read the entire Bible and she can tell you about the Bible. So I cannot wait until we bring Carla on. Carla is also on Money Magic with us. I cannot wait till we bring Carla on for a discussion one morning. And Elaine is also with us in Money Magic. Tam, your hand is raised. Talk to us.
My hand, in light of all of the geological, astrological, astronomical, I mean, everything, the science, the geometry, but how are you going to accomplish this in four different locations on the planet, identical? These were the same people, the same beings. What, China, Teotihuacan, Kemet, and in Cambodia too? And probably other places on the planet that they haven't unearthed yet. This is fascinating. And we need to know. Right, Carla? We need to know. It's time.
Tam said, we need to know. Yes, we do. We need to know. And yes, you're right, Tam. How are they doing this in multiple locations around the planet and Turkey, right? Gobekli Tepe in Turkey and Karahan Tepe in Turkey. And we found more in Iraq, which is ancient Sumer, is Iraq. How were these things all over the globe? Machu Picchu in Peru. We have Peru, we have Mexico, we have Cambodia, we have Egypt, China, Turkey. I mean, it gets ridiculous. How many places these beings were all over the planet? These beings were all over the planet. Is that chilling? And we don't even know who they were doing all of this. Not to mention the Olmec heads. Not to mention, what's that island where they don't even allow people to go anymore? The island with the big Olmec heads. They closed that island down. Like, why?
Really?
Yes. What's the name of that island? Where Easter Island.
Oh, Easter Island.
I
Yeah.
think they closed Easter Island.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? What about all the hinges, the stone hinges? What about Stonehenge in England? What
Mm-hmm.
about the original Stonehenge in Africa?
Mm-hmm.
Adam's calendar, which is in
Adam's
South Africa.
calendar. Mm-hmm.
Adam's calendar down in South Africa. Precise. These are precise instruments. But they want to tell us, and they're also telling us that at the same time, people were in the Bronze Age, hadn't even discovered iron yet, and that they were using tools and banging with hammers and chisels to make these precision monuments with hammers and chisels with slaves. Does anybody think that doesn't add up?
Somebody lying.
Somebody is lying. Damn said somebody's lying. Someone is lying. And what's fascinating about this is it's very difficult to get to the truth because the second you start to study these kinds of things and talk about the anomalies, the scholars and the gatekeepers and the people who want to keep you shush shush, they make you seem like a crazy conspiracy theorist. They label people like that, like Graham Hancock. They labeled him like some kind of crazy nut. Yet this man has over 30 years of his life, he has devoted to these ancient mysteries that are not solved. And it would be one thing if the scientists had these mysteries solved. Here's the answers, and the answers added up. That would be one thing. The answers don't add up. So that means we don't have the answers and we must keep looking. So all this subterfuge and cover up and trying to make people that are not quote unquote archaeologists that are, in the mainstream to make these people a smear campaign tells you something's going on because why do you need a smear campaign if the person is just wrong? A lot to be discovered. So those are some of the secrets that I hope keep you up tonight as you consider as your mind churns about Egypt. And we'll be in Egypt for the Magic and Manifestation Retreat on the fall equinox from September 20th to September 30th. You have plenty of time. This is February 1st. You have plenty of time to prepare. And we have a special promotion for Love Day. And I'm going to announce the promotion in this Zoom. And we're not going to announce the promotion publicly because we only are offering this promotion to those who are on our list, our email list. So if you want to get access to the promotion, you need to move quickly because the promotion is only going to be good from the 1st of February to February 14th for Love Day. Let me show you how you can get access. If you are on YouTube, you want to go to valerielove.com, global events, and there you can find out about upcoming retreats. Just pop your name and email address in here, and you will receive an email, and the email will show you how you can access the special promotion. We're going to announce it now, but first, we're going to say thank you to YouTube for being live with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Oh, Carla, your hand is raised before we close up YouTube.
No, I just have a quick question. This would be like the perfect homeschooling trip, and I wanted to. Carlos loves Egypt, but I wanted to know if you book for Bali and decide to change, can you do that? Or okay, because this would be like the perfect homeschooling trip. He'll be 15 then, so
Oh, he'll be 15. He's definitely old enough to, yes, for
yeah.
sure. Definitely old enough. Yes, and the nice thing about our platform, our travel platform, I'll show it to you all. The nice thing about our travel platform with WeTravel, where we do all of our retreat bookings, is that we can easily, with a click of a button, move you from one retreat to another. So let's go down to, actually, let's go this way. Let's go to valerielove.com/Egypt. And when you go here, it'll show you some of our pictures from our retreats in Egypt and some of the amazing things we do in Egypt. It'll show you that. And then it gives you a link to go and register for Egypt. And the nice thing about it is that when you register, if you registered for Egypt, which we have our peeps registered for Egypt and we have our peeps registering for Bali. So if we go to valerielove.com/Bali, see, we announced Bali before we announced Egypt. So learn more, go to Bali. We announced Bali. So Bali probably will be full. Look at all these folks coming to Bali. So Bali is going to probably sell out soon. So if you're thinking about Bali, do your deposit. Uh, and Egypt, you can move from it makes it very easy on our platform to move from Egypt. Was I on screen share just now? Did y'all see what I was doing? Okay, good. And it makes it very easy for us to be able to move your registration and all the payments just from one retreat to another. It's just that simple. Makes it very simple for us to do that. Okay. All right, YouTube, I love you. I'll see you in the morning. And let me now make this announcement inside our Zoom of what's going on. Now, let me see if I can end the live stream.